What is up, everybody? Today we're doing something a little different. You know, Nickelodeon All Stars has been out for about a week now, and for the last couple days I've been playing quite a bit of it. And you know, with like Smash Bros and now Nickelodeon, I know I'll never be able to get to this crazy in-depth level with the metagame and be able to understand it to the way like the pros do. But I know stages. I know if a stage sucks or not. So you know, I figured we can make a tier list together, or I can make one, and then you guys could tell me how wrong I am. So well, let's just do that. All right, so these are pretty much in chronological order. I'm noticing from the game itself, all of the stages are kind of like tied together with their respective show. So first up, we got SpongeBob's little cluster, Jellyfish Field, starting it off. This stage is pretty much a home run. You know, it's not you don't need a lot in these fighting games. Jellyfish Fields, you got a flat plane, one moving platform going back and forth, just enough to change things up a little bit. I'm gonna throw it. I'm gonna throw it in an A. You know, I don't want to give an S right off the bat. I really enjoy playing this level. But yeah, I don't want to throw S's out willy nilly. It's a solid stage. And you got Gary crawling around there, you know. So if you can't have him as a playable character, might as well be in a level. Next up, Flying Dutchman. There are tons of platforms in this. I don't mind this level at all. There's a lot of things to play around in. And there's this little corner where the cabin is that meets the rest of the ship, that if you get down there could be some serious opportunities for punishments. One thing I've noticed about this game is that if you get pinned or if you get in dangerous positions, it's easy to just get bounced around and just dominated. And I've noticed that a lot of the times when I'm playing on this level, that's where I try to get my opponent, is that little corner near the cabin where it meets the rest of the ship. I really don't mind it. It's pretty big. There's really no hazards that I've ran into that I could remember. So, you know what? I'll throw this in A as well. It's a solid for the size of the level. I think it's a pretty good stage. Yeah. Oh boy. Boy, Gloveworld. Okay. Gloveworld is a nightmare. I hate this level. It's way too big, and we'll see this in a couple other stages later on. It is so big for even a 4-player match, because one thing I've noticed about Nick All Stars is you could like punish people and get their damage so high and then launch them up, but they'll find a way to come back. So like trying to get like a knockout from like the ground to the top of the screen is very difficult. A lot of the times I'm getting like side like KOs from the side of the screen or spiking downward, trying to shoot them upward. I mean, if you're on top of this Ferris wheel, it's a little easier if you're on like a higher platform, but the level itself is huge. And not to mention the hazards. I hate moving hazards in this game. And we'll see this again in a little bit, but there's a roller coaster that goes through the level, and when a hazard happens, it's like all of the action goes away from the fight itself, and it's like, hey, look at this hazard. You could be on the other side of the screen, but the camera will shift over to where this freaking roller coaster is coming, and that's what it wants you to focus on. You might not even be in the same area of it. I wish the camera was a little bit smarter like that. It makes playing on this level super annoying. And not to mention there's this giant there's like the roller coaster itself on each side, but then it dips down below the screen, so very easy to fall down below in the middle of the screen. Not a fan of Gloveworld because of its size, so many moving parts, and the annoying hazards. I'm throwing this in a D. And this is the first time I made a tier list. I know you could have like Fs and stuff, but this is pretty much bottom of the barrel. Okay, Spongebob is all sorted. Not too bad, except for Gloveworld. It's a terrible stage. Next, we are going into the Avatar cluster of stages. First up is the Western Air Temple. I like it. It's huge, just like Gloveworld. So trying to get those top of the screen KOs is a little bit difficult. but there's no moving hazards. It's pretty simple. There's two identical platforms in the middle of the stage, and then there's platforms on each side, which could be nice because it's so big. If those guys weren't there, getting knocked, far off of the right or the left could be a death sentence, so I appreciate those being there. And it's like it's like a nice stage to look at. I recently watched Avatar for the first time last year, and I really loved it. So this is like the first game that I've played that had the characters in it. So it's really cool seeing like the stages represented and everything, and playing around with the characters themselves. That being said, enjoyment of the level itself, I'd put it in like a B, just because I'm not a fan of the huge stages, but it's simplicity, so it's pretty much right in the middle, right there. Okay, Omashu, a lot of the same issues as Gloveworld. The level is there's so much going on. There's platforms all over the place. There's a moving hazard, which is a cart that does the same thing. You could be on the left side of the screen, and if the cart is coming on the right, the camera switches away from the action and just tells you, hey, a hazard's over here. It's not anywhere near you, but it's happening, so focus on that. Super annoying, takes you out of the fight. Again, very, very big stage. The only thing that I really like about this stage is that it has the cabbages dude from Avatar in it. Oh man, I really want to give it a D, but the cabbages, we'll give it a. Let's find something else redeeming about it. I don't know. I guess maybe there's so many platforms that there's a high chance of saving yourself when you're getting knocked like that, even down below. Getting knocked from like a spike or something like that should be. You have opportunities to save yourself. I'm trying not to give it a very bottom, just because of cabbages. We're gonna give it C for cabbages. Yeah. All right. And the last Avatar level. I guess this is kind of more Legend of Korra. I think looking these stages up, I think this is from Korra. I haven't watched Korra yet. This stage is Harmonic Convergence. And this is Final Destination for anyone who's played Smash Brothers. And I'm guessing a lot of people who are looking into Nicktoons All Stars are pretty familiar with Smash Brothers. This is Final Destination. It's a long, flat plane, no hazards, beautiful background. Even the background is similar to it. You're in this kind of like I can't even describe it. I'm guessing it's like some kind of otherworldly plane in Korra, because there's a lot happening. It's just really, really nice. Even though you shouldn't really be focusing on the background during fighting games like this, but it's still super nice. This is straight up. This is an S. Anything that cuts it as simple as Final Destination, that's all you need. To me, that is all you need. So we have our first S. All right. Moving into our next cluster, this show was like after my time with Nickelodeon. Avatar was really cutting the line. Like when Avatar first came out, I didn't really watch it. I knew about it, but I was kind of moving away from Nickelodeon at that time, and I didn't come back to it until I was 28 years old, but I completely missed out on this show. It's the Loud House. I've never seen it. The characters aren't too bad fighting, but yeah, this is the Loud House from, I guess, the show named the same thing. It's not bad. It reminds me a lot of Onett, just because there's like, it's as simple as it being like a building with going back and forth. There's no like cars driving back and forth. It's literally like a front lawn of a house. The balcony and the front porch are kind of like platforms you could get onto. What's really interesting about this one is this little van that's over on the right side. You can get stuck in between the van and on the edge of the screen. It's a very small, like the edges of the map are pretty small, so it's easy to get KOs on. But either side of that van could lead to very punishing moments. You could either get stuck in between the van and the porch and just like get bounced back and forth, or the van, you could bounce off the wall and off the stage very easily. I can't really talk about the atmosphere of the level, not really knowing the show or whatever, but it's enjoyable. It's a fun map to play on, and it's nice to look at. It's a cool concept. I think I'm gonna throw it right in the center with B. Yeah. All right. So again, this one is from the Loud House as well. This is the Royal Woods Cemetery, and I noticed that both of the characters, this is how little I know about the show, both of the characters they have the last name Loud. I think it's Lincoln Loud and Lucy Loud, so I'm assuming they're brother and sister. And Lucy is like super gothic, and her moveset is all like vampires and darkness and fun things like that. It's very similar to Harmonic Convergence, except the only difference is it's a little smaller from end to end of the plane, and you have one hazard. It's not really a hazard. It's more of just like a moving object. There's tombstones that come out of the ground, and they come up or they come up at different areas of the map, and they kind of just block you. So you have something you have to jump over. It's really not. I really never noticed it. I actually had to go back and play it and make sure that it wasn't just another Final Destination. So yeah, it's enjoyable. I like the darkness. I like the rain, the whole atmosphere of it. The simplicity. If you want a Final Destination-esque map that doesn't change up a lot of things, I think it's a really good choice. So I'm actually going to throw this in A. I enjoy playing on it. All right, next up, we are going into a new show. These next cluster of levels are from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which, not the one I grew up with. I'm not familiar with anything that Nickelodeon has done with the Turtles. It's cool that they're in the game. You get two turtles. I think it's Michelangelo and Raphael. I could be wrong there. But yeah, we have 3 levels from the show. Oh, and April O'Neil is also in the game, which I really like her moveset, just as a side note, because I work in video production, and her whole moveset is like, she's like throwing cameras around and freaking boom mics. I've never played a fighting game where a weapon is a boom microphone. So I thought that was really neat. It made me want to learn her more. But yeah, let's get back into the levels. The first one up is Rooftop Rumble. Again, it's a very simple stage. It's just a flat plane. You're on top of a building with a platform on the center of the stage, a little higher up. It's about half the size of the entire stage itself. What I've noticed playing this map is if your opponent is on the platform and you're underneath it, almost every character in this game has like an uppercut that can reach through the platform, so it's very easy to get under them to get some damage and start some kind of chain. Again, there's nothing else that happens. There's no hazards that pop up. It's more stylized. I really like the neon glow, the darkness. It's kind of like seeing a different side of all these Nickelodeon games. The closest I think we've had to something like this so far was Harmonic Convergence and the Royal Woods Cemetery. It's just, another simple map. If it pops up in arcade mode, it's nice. I'd much rather this than Omashu or Gloveworld or something like that, So I enjoy it. We'll pop this in A. Yeah. All right, next up is the sewers from TMNT. Again, it's another simple map. It's much smaller than any other flat plane stage, I think. I would say the main platform itself is probably half the size of Rooftops, and then there's a smaller platform above it. Not much area on the sides. There's a lot, there's a deep fall. So if your character doesn't have good recovery, it's easy to get KO'd that way. There is, I don't know if I would consider it a hazard. There's like this little slime that comes out of one drain and goes across the map into another drain, but all I've seen it do is just move you back. So I guess it could throw you off a little bit. It's not damaging or anything like that. Yeah, and there's this, if anyone could tell me in the comments, this dinosaur thing, is this new to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I've never seen it before. It was when I got the game, I went to the extras, I went to the gallery. It was the only picture that was unlocked. It's like this dinosaur with red nails. I think it has a skateboard or something, or maybe it has a skateboard on its shirt. It's like skating around this map. I have no idea who that is. So if someone could let me know, that would be great. Getting back to the map itself, nothing special about it. I think it changes things up a little bit, being a much smaller map. It kind of condenses play into a smaller area. But nothing really sets it out, I think I'm going to throw it into the neutral B area right there. Okay, and the last the last map for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is Technodrome Takedown. Again, I think this is something with Krang. I haven't watched the new series, and it's been like 20 years since I've watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so I'm really unfamiliar with all of this stuff. But yeah, for the map itself, it's a little bit bigger. It's kind of like a weird take on Battlefield. You have your flat plane in the middle, you have a platform above you, and then on the sides and lower, you have moving platforms. I shouldn't really say lower because they move up and down. It is a much bigger map, like I said, so having those platforms on each side is pretty nice to have something to reach in between the edge of the screen and the center of the stage. There's not much else to it. The background is nice. It's definitely some kind of like evil thing. Like I said, I think it's like Krang or something like that in the TMNT story. So there's some cool stuff going on back there. It's a little ominous. It's a fun map to play on. I really don't mind it. Again, I like that we're getting closer to the recognizable maps like Battlefield and Final Destination and stuff like that. So I think I'll give this, I'll throw this in the A. There's really nothing bad about it, but nothing that just makes it great, makes it amazing, I should say. So that wraps up TMNT. Next, we are on to Ren and Stimpy, which I'm shocked. I'm shocked that not only one, but two and technically three characters from Ren and Stimpy are in this game. You have Powdered Toast Man, which never thought you would see him in a video game in 2021. And then you have Ren and Stimpy. They're kind of they're one character. They're kind of Ice Climber-ish, but not really. Whereas like the Ice Climbers swing their hammers together and spin around like, Ren rolls and slams Stimpy into the ground. I think I just got their names mixed up, but whatever. I don't know. This map sucks. This is Space Madness. So I think this is something to do with Powdered Toast Man. Again, it's probably been about 22 years since I've watched Ren and Stimpy. This map is horrible. And I would just like to take a moment here. I know I've been saying level, stages, map. It's all just bouncing around my head, so you have to forgive me. I'm sorry about that. This stage, I hate playing on it. When I play through arcade mode, so the way arcade is set up is you have one set level that you play against someone, and then you go into one, like the next section is you could choose one or the other level, and then it alternates. So it's like you fight the stage that they give you, you're given the option between 1 and 2, you fight the stage that you're given, I pray that this is one that I could avoid. So the premise behind this is a bunch of different objects from this spaceship, the space station, wherever you're located, is just floating across the screen. Everything underneath you is emptiness, so you have to keep bouncing back and forth. There's some objects. There's like a cube of water that you could kind of float through that slows you down. It's just, it's annoying. I don't like when you play stages where fighting is secondary and keeping yourself alive because of other threats is a priority. I don't like that. I like focusing on what my opponent's doing and what I could do, not jumping over, toothpaste or whatever's in this level. This level, you could guess it right now. It's a D. It's very unenjoyable. So going into the next Ren and Stimpy level, this is Powdered Toast Trouble. It's not amazing. It's much better than Space Madness though. So the premise for this one is Powdered Toast Man. I think it's like the setting for his commercial or whatever. Again, it's been a very long time since I've watched this, but it's like a kitchen table setup and it's fun, You have a couple different hazards. They're kind of broken up into areas of the kitchen, which I thought was really interesting. Like over on the very far end, there's like a frying pan that's frying eggs and bacon. So if you step on that, you'll get hurt. There's a toaster that has toast pushed down, and then every couple seconds the toast pops up and it could launch you. The big thing about this level is there's this bowl of milk that, like, if you jump in it, you could float in it and get out. But if someone just like spikes you while you're in the milk, you're instantly dead. It's nuts. It's crazy. And there's another level like that we're going to talk about in a little bit that has that feature. And I don't know how I feel about it, because it's like you could be doing so great, and if you just get stuck there, you're dead. And I guess that's the That's the way these games are. It's just, it was really shocking when I saw that. I didn't know if it was like a death thing because it's just a bowl of milk, but yeah, it's pretty funny. It's huge. The level is huge. You have to run through so many different areas to get from one side to the other, and each area is kind of broken up into a different thing. Like I said, like a different breakfast food or something like that with its own type of hazard. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't think I really like that. It could be a level, it could be a fun stage where like you don't feel like playing simple, you know. It definitely changes things up. I know I've talked a lot about this one, but I don't think it's, you know what, I'll throw it in B just because I have had fun in it. I'll throw it in B. I was going to give it a C, but you're just talking about it and thinking back to all the matches I've had in it, it's not too bad. I think this wraps up like the clustered levels. I think every level after here is like one per show. So we are going into Catdog, which, man, oh man, like this game is so huge on nostalgia. I love it. It's like I would just wanted to watch Catdog when I played as Catdog on Catdog stage. I wanted to watch Invader Zim. I want to watch all these shows again that I haven't watched in decades. Needless to say, playing a game at Catdog's house, playing as Catdog at Catdog's house is nuts. But let's talk about the level itself. You are at Catdog's house. The platforms in the level are basically like the balconies and the like, you know, the little roofs on various stages of the house itself. The hazard, I wouldn't really say hazard, but the stage ends at the cliff, which, a funny note about the cliff, I wish I knew. I wish I knew about anxiety when I was 8 years old watching Catdog, because seeing how close they lived to the edge of a cliff always made me super nervous as a kid. And I wish I knew. I just wish I knew it was going to come later on in my life. It explains so much. But yeah, now I could throw people off that cliff. So yeah, again, just pure nostalgia. I love playing on this map. It's not too bad. There's nothing else. There's no hazards that happen. It's just it's a fun map. I'm gonna throw it in A for pure nostalgia, simplicity. It's freaking Catdog. It's one of the greats, you know. Next up, we are going to Invader Zim. This is the Irken Armada invasion, which Irken is the species Zim is, I believe. I mean, it only makes sense, you know. So this is Battlefield. You know, Harmonic Convergence is Final Destination. This is Battlefield. You have a flat plane. You have 3 platforms. The only difference is the background. There's an invasion going on. You see spaceships flying back and forth and everything. It's as simple as you can get. If you want to play Battlefield in Nicktoons, you pick this. Pretty simple. Probably says a lot about me, but yeah, if we keep it, anything that's as close to Smash Bros as can is probably going to get an S. So we have our Final Destination. We have our Battlefield right there. Not only that, but I love Invader Zim. Same with Catdog. I can't believe that Zim is in a game, and I'm able to play as him. It's so freaking cool. This next one is a little weird. This is the Rugrats stage, and I just, thinking about Rugrats, and especially the only representation of Rugrats in this game is Reptar, which makes sense. You don't really want to have babies fighting each other, or like stew or whatever. I don't know. But this level is Showdown at Teeter, Totter, Gulch, which is from it's from one of the episodes. I faintly remember it. But thinking about Rugrats, I feel like they could have done so much more to it. You could have had like an oversized playpen in a living room with all of these, toys and stuff, and make you feel like you're the size of a baby or whatever. But no, it was a callback to this episode. I think it was the episode with where Tommy puts on the cowboy hat. I just feel like it is. I don't know. But anyways, getting to the level itself, you start on a teeter-totter. It goes up and down. So one thing that's weird about this is in platforms in this game, if you press in down and jump, you could fall through the platforms. If you fall through this platform, you cannot jump up back through it. You can with every other platform. So I've noticed this. So if you go underneath this one, It's very dangerous because most of the ground in this map is quicksand. And remember when we were talking about the powder toast kitchen level, that glass of, or that bowl of milk? Same concept here with the quicksand. You could get in it, but if anyone punches you downward, it's pretty much an instant death. Yeah, other than that, there's some platforms on the side, I believe, where you could, it's not just the teeter totter. You could jump onto the other ones again. It's a thing, I'm not a huge fan of it. If it comes up in arcade mode with the option of either this or like Omashu again, or like Gloveworld, something like that, I'll pick it. I'm definitely not a huge fan of it. I think I will throw it in C. And again, Rugrats is such a huge staple for Nickelodeon. I just feel like they could have had a cooler idea for a stage. All right, next up we have the Wild Waterfall. This is from the Wild Thornberrys. This stage sucks. It sucks. It's huge. There's platforms on both sides that go up of this giant waterfall, and then there's logs that fall down the waterfall, so you have moving platforms you have to deal with, and then underneath it is water that I think you could jump in for a little bit, but it's very easy to just fall down right through and die. I like the Wild Thornberrys, and I really don't mean to like be biased in this. I'm not trying to be biased. I did enjoy the Wild Thornberrys when I was a kid. And I think if this level was set up differently, I would really enjoy it. So it's really nothing about that. That waterfall kills me. I hate it, literally and figuratively. I don't enjoy it. I think it's a cool level to look at. But yeah, it's huge. It's very, very big, and I don't like the hazards in it. It reminds me of, I think it's Jungle Japes. It might be Jungle Japes or the other, not the Smash Bros map where you have to keep on jumping up, but the one where like if you hit the river, you just rush and die. It feels like if you hit this water, you just fall and you're dead. So yeah, I'm gonna throw it in D. Yeah. So speaking of reminding me of other Smash Bros maps, this next one is from Hey Arnold. It's just called Traffic Jam. This is like a really mellow Big Blue, like the F-Zero map with the cars flying by and you have to jump between the cars, except you're on a bus and it's not even really a traffic jam. The bus is constantly moving, and then once in a while a car will come up and you could jump on that. The only difference is if you hit the ground, you get damaged because you're on a moving vehicle. Nothing really special about it. I don't like that you can't get spikes in this game. If you get a spike, you better hope that they're at high enough damage where they bounce off the ground and up on top of the screen or something like that to get the KO. It's not too enjoyable. I don't want to give it a D because it's not horrible. I think I'll throw it in C. Yeah, it is what it is. The bus itself is pretty long, so if you could manage to stay on that platform and keep your enemies off and have them have to deal with the hazards of the roads and the other cars and stuff like that, it's not too bad. All right, moving right along to left. This is the Ghost Zone from Danny Phantom. So this is kind of set up like Battlefield as well. You have it's not really a flat plane. There's like some bumps on it. Then you have the 3 platforms. The thing that makes this different is there is a funneled, I don't know what you would call it. It's just like, it's like bricks and walls and stuff. I guess it would say it's a funneled wall on top of the stage. It gives a lot of areas to play around with. If you launch someone up at high damage, they hit this wall, they're going to bounce between it, and they're either going to get sent downward or keep going up and get shot through the top of the screen. Danny Phantom's a show I never got into. I think like I know it branched off of Fairly Odd Parents. It didn't really branch off, but they just, it was the same creators and art style and stuff. It was just like at the cusp of my time with Nickelodeon, so I just never got into it. That being said, this level is really fun to play. I really like the change up and how much the funnel at the top adds to it and gives you a lot of opportunities for cool punishments and cool KOs and stuff. The level itself is really neat to look at. It's a ghost zones, and he's Danny Phantom, so I'm assuming it's some kind of like portal thing. I don't know. I'm really unfamiliar with the show, but the background's really cool. I like the purple and green. It's neat. It's neat. I'm gonna throw this in A, because I could already think back to some really cool KOs that I got. All right, and rounding it out is the Real Monsters level. This is just dump. You know, what can I say? You're at a dump. The platform is a bunch of crushed up cars. I really like how this level changes. I think there's more changes than any other stage in this game. You know, the platform always stays the same, but more platforms might rise up. And a cool thing that happens is like a car comes down on a magnet that creates a third platform you could jump onto. You know, really simple. There's no dangerous hazards or anything like that. I like the style of it. Again, seeing a show from the early 90s, All Real Monsters, being represented in a game today is really, really cool. Not to mention this level has hands down the best music. The music in this level is the best in the game. Yeah, I'll throw that in A. So yeah, we got pretty big A, and that brings us to the end. So what do we got? Not too bad. The majority of levels in the game are pretty good. You know, we have some outliers. I mean, the fantastic levels kind of are just Smash Bros levels, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, this whole game was, I wouldn't say an homage, but it's definitely inspired by Smash Bros. So of course some of the best levels in this game are going to be based off of the best levels in Smash Brothers, in my opinion. Definitely some okay levels, some cool levels to look at, some interesting ideas, especially with Powdered Toast, and some garbage, some hot garbage that I don't want to deal with. So yeah, that's what I got. I'm going to give it a save and download. I'm going to print this out and put it on my fridge. Maybe Allie will be proud of me. My very first tier list. Anyways, what's more important is you guys, let me know if you agree with this. If there's a level on here that's high that you don't think it should be. If there's a level down here that you love that you think is the best, let me know down in the comments. You know, I really appreciate it, guys. If you want to see more lists, for some reason, if you want to hear my opinion on them, I don't know why you would, but hey, I'll give it. Let me know, and I'll make it. And yeah, same as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.